Alright, hey guys, Derek Goff again here with another blending nature tutorial. Again, too, if you guys didn't realize, I have a website called Digital i3D that I'd like you to check out. Look at some of my stuff. I got a few tutorials up there and I'm working to get more. I know this one's been a long time coming, but anyway, I hope you find it informational. So today we're going to work on trees, but also as a side note, I had a request to do actual texturing of grass because I kind of skipped over that in the last one. So I'm going to show you how I did that, and hopefully it helps. So let's pop open Blender, get that, expand it. Before I forget, I'm going to do my screencast. Oops, wrong thing. There we go. Okay. Alright, now let's minimize that. Next I'm going to open another browser, and I'm literally just going to Google grass blade texture images, and you can see there are a few here. I think this is the one I used. I haven't ever seen this one here before, but that one's 928. So they're exactly the same. So I'm just going to go to this one. You right click it, save picture as. I'm going to throw it to my desktop, save. Okay, done with that. So now here it is right here. So I'm going to open that now in GIMP. And there it is. So the reason I open it in GIMP is because right now it's almost too perfect and it doesn't have that darkness at the bottom that we want, because otherwise the blade is going to look very green all the way through. But I like to try to hide that. So what I do is I do a gradient. I do a FG to transparent, so the black to transparent, and all you do, and you can even create a new layer, call it dark blend, bang, like that, and pull it from here, something kind of like that. That's not too bad. And then you can even turn it down a bit, but you know, I want it to be pretty dark. You can play around with the different light settings on this, or I should say modes of combination. I don't know what you want to call it, but at any rate, I think normal will be fine. I'm going to keep it fairly dark. The other thing too is right now the tip, in general too, the actual green is a little bit too weak, so I would probably go into here, maybe increase the contrast a little bit, darken the color some. See, all that texture is really starting to stand out. I like that. Okay, now it's very dark all the way through, so what we want to do is we want to change this, and we want to do kind of a light creamy color like this, going back the other way. Whoa, sorry about that. Go here, and that's way too much. Start out here. That's about all you need. That's perfect right there. Just a little bit of lightness on the tip. I think that's going to work out just great. So we'll just save it. It's saying you can't have layers. Say export, we turn it to 100, and save. Okay, now that's gone. Let's jump back into Blender. Delete the cube. I'm going to add just a plane. Keep this nice and simple. And we're going to bring this thing up like that. I'm going to bring it in like this. And now I'm going to just subdivide it using Control R. You can do it as many times as you want, but remember that the more times you do subdivide it, the more vertices you're going to have in your overall render. If you use this as a particle, I suggest not going too high because it is grass, and you just don't really need to, you know, get into too much detail on that. So something like this. You could create some blades that actually don't have a point, which is not a bad idea. If you notice, grass usually narrows at the bottom a little bit. So there's our grass blade right there. And the next thing we do is we have to UV unwrap it. So I'm going to pop this open, go to the UV image editor, and I'm going to project from view. Also, we need to create a material, call it grass, and you might set up a color just for your viewport screen. Something like that is fine. Specularity, one thing I found that actually is kind of cool on grass and it helps is to change it to a little bit of a pinkish hue, and I don't know why, but I've had good results with that, so just something to think about. Also, depending on how shiny you want the grass to be, you can play with this. Hardness, I wouldn't go too high. If you want it to look really wet, you should go higher, but 50 should be fine for right now. I usually always set stuff to receive transparent. By the way, obviously this is set up for, I guess, Blender internal, but this also could be translated to cycles pretty easily. It just still uses the same texture mapping. So, anyway, open that image. We go to desktop, and I don't know what it was called. There it is, grass blade. Open the image. We want it to use UV. And we do want some normal, say 0.1, color's good, both, and I usually like to use the monkey head. And then over here, now we need to pick that image there, and you can see it's totally whacked that out, so let's just do another project from view, rotate it 90, scale it up, something like this, and you want to keep it centered on that center vein there, because I mean it is grass, and it does kind of have a central vein. So now if we go over here to go to textured, there it is. There's your grass blade, darker at the base, so that'll blend nicely and make your ground a very dark color. Something I found when I did this is at first I made the grass blades a little bit too wide, so I've got this one fairly narrow. It should be pretty good. Also, found that if you turn on proportional editing, change this to something like sphere, go back to the mode, and if we curve this, that's fine. Also bring this one down a bit, and again this is going to look kind of jagged, but you would think this curve is enough, and in reality it's not enough, which is kind of surprising to me. What would work even better is something more like this, if you can get a good view of that. Something even tighter, more curved like this is a more appropriate amount of curve. Also, what you can do is you could pick, let's say, these ones here, rotate it by the Y, expand that, and kind of give it a twist. So you've got that one. Let's also set that to smooth. Alt, or actually Shift D. You don't want to do Alt D because you don't want these to be connected to each other. I'm going to try to change this one a little bit just so we get something a little different. This is just a quick demonstration, of course. I would suggest spending a lot more time on making this look better, but okay, well, anyway, so you've got two there. So what you would do then is select both of these, hit Control G, and they become a group, and call it grass. Oh, also, one thing I did forget to do is where this orange dot is the same place where the base of your grass has to be. So it has to be in both directions, because that is where see how the orange dot is right there? So when you add that to a surface, that's where the surface is actually going to go, and your grass blades are going to look all wacky. I'm going to rotate this one like this too. There. Back up to the top view here. Okay. Alright, so this looks terrible, by the way, but you guys get the idea. Alright, so now that I have both of those, what I usually do is move them to this layer 5, and then I go back layer 1 here, add a mesh plane, and we give it a material, call it ground, and a lot of people do black. I actually end up usually doing a really, really dark green color, kind of a yellowy green, because I find that it actually I don't know, blends the grass better. If you do black, sometimes if it gets thin, you can really see it. So anyway, marine nair, I like that one for grounds because it looks kind of velvety. And receive transparent, just in case we ever do any leaves or anything. And then we go to particle systems. We do hair. A whole lot of them in there right now. We go advanced, make it 500. Random, you can take that off once you do random. Then I usually just go straight down to group, select my group in there. Oh, well, see, you can see some craziness going on there. I think it's because I don't have my scale and rotation applied. Just save this while I'm at it. That'll work. So that should help that. Now if we go back to the first one here, there we go. So now we got grass looking very nice. Something else not to forget. Sorry, I keep jumping back and forth here. We're just doing this straight off, guys. Translucency, turn it all the way up. You're going to love it. Okay, back to this. Pick random will help. Again, I only have 2 grass blades here, so, you know, be gentle, guys. It's not going to look amazing. What will help, though, is if we turn up randomize rotation. I also tend to play with this phase. Sometimes it can help kind of fake out the grass. See, normally when you rotate and do like maybe 12 variations of that blade, you get better better results than what I'm getting right now. But you can kind of see that kind of helped. It also it's kind of creating some craziness. Oh, it's because we're in textured mode. Let's just go solid so I can see it. Okay, that's not so bad. That's not so bad, right? Yeah. Turn the randomized size up. Let's turn the size of the blades way down. 0.05. It's going to be really small. That's okay. Make this like 2,000. 2,000. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Children. Yes, we want children. Interpolated. Awesome. Again, I play with the length usually. I turn this down to like half, and then turn the threshold up to like maybe half also. Because this threshold represents the amount of particles unleft by. Okay, so let's do 0.1. That should make a lot of short ones and a lot of taller ones in there. Man, 14 minutes on that. Whew. Okay. Alright, to make this thing workable, let's just turn this down to 2, and also I'm just going to turn those off from the viewport. Okay, what I was originally going to do is, if you go to user preferences and do sapling, check this. And once you got it in there, you can do a Shift A, and you should be able to do, no, not a landscape. Sorry. What is the thing? Add tree and curves. Okay, so there's a tree. I am not going to spend any time whatsoever on this, but I am going to turn the bevel up. Let's turn a few of these things up here. Sorry, this was squeezed way over here. Let me expand. There's a whole ton of settings here. You can do a lot of different stuff. I'm not going to, though, for the purposes of this tutorial. Bevel resolution is basically the roundness. If you turn it down, you get less vertices in your base and things like that. So I'm gonna rock that right there. So as soon as you actually click it, now it's no longer scale it. You lose the ability to edit it. What you need to do now is turn the object into a mesh. Now if you select it, see there's actual vertices there. So the way I do trees is I actually don't use the leaves through that version or that method, because I find a better way to do it is to set up a vertex group on the tree. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it leaves, like that. And we can shrink this down. And now, if I go into weight paint mode, this is kind of where it gets fun. Straight up, so I'm orthographic here. You can do either color, doesn't matter, but you know, blue can be inverted to red, so it doesn't really matter which way you go with this, but turn the strength all the way up. You can also expand the brush by doing pushing F and dragging, but what we want to do is get it red in the middle, because there aren't any leaves on the trunk. There are leaves on the branches, but there aren't leaves on the trunk. So now if I go into side view, you see it's missed some things, but if you hit Control 7, you actually come in from the bottom also. So now we've got that, and if I go to front view and I color that like that, getting that. If I go to side view, coloring that like that, and then again Control and any number takes you to the opposite side, and Control 1. So pretty much what I've got now is I've got the center red. This doesn't work as well for this example because it's so small, I guess. The branches aren't very long, so then I usually go back and I kind of just manually color these in. See, I can see all this red here, and I want that to be all blue. And we're almost there, and I'm running out of time. So I'm going to get crazy for this example, and we're going to do a leaf tree. How about that? I know you love it. Okay, so there. Now that's good enough. Okay, so we go back into object mode, and then I'm going to create a texture here. I'm just going to do a brownish color, which is fine, and turn this stuff way down. Okay, you would probably map on a image texture for the trunk, but the method I'm kind of trying to show you is how to put the leaves on. So now I'm going to create a particle system, hair, and it looks crazy. Go to advanced. First thing we do right off the bat is we go down to vertex groups, and I'm going to change this to leaves, and I'm going to invert it. And now what you'll find is that we're only working on the branches that we had blue, because the trunk was red, so it's the opposite. The other thing I want to do is change this to grass. You can see that's a cool leaf tree. I like that. And let's do random again. Uncheck that. I'm going to turn the size down. I don't know. Almost looks like something out of Dr. Seuss. It's cool. A little bit of that, maybe a little bit of this, I don't know, something, no, maybe none of those. And let's turn the size down again a little bit so you can actually see. 0.05? No. 0.001. Ooh. 0.005. Okay, there you go. Yeah. And even distribution, you can play with these settings here, but I find that you know, in some cases it helps, in some cases it doesn't. I think we have, do I still have, no, 1? Yeah, that should be on 1, not 0. Okay, anyway, we can turn this up again to 2000. Man, having a real issue here today, guys. I'm kind of in a hurry. Okay, there. That looks pretty good. We might even change this to verts. That's kind of a cool effect, because I noticed on the tip there we're not getting any faces. I don't know, we'll go faces. But again, also you could turn on children here, interpolate it, and yeah. So the benefit to doing this is that if I manipulate now that grass blade or leaf, it changes every single leaf on the tree. You can actually do like a little branch and create a group out of it with leaves on it, and then add it to here. You can control the size of the leaves, then the textures. It works out way better than just using sapling, I think anyway. But I guess I might be kind of biased. With that, I'm just going to turn the children off, and I don't know. I thought that was kind of fun when that was all bushy like that. And back to this, we'll turn that back on. And this happens sometimes, I'm not sure why, but it does rotation. If you just click it back, then you get your grass back. So, get a little bit longer. And, I don't know, I'm just going to scale this down, which is probably going to make the grass blade's way bigger. So, trial and error, guys. Way over here, and I'm just going to kind of, man, lagging. Do something like this. Trying to get you guys at least a render here so you can see what we're working with. Some kind of cool angle like that. I don't even know if I have lighting set up here. Sun, of course. Let's go to 2.5. Make it a little bit yellow. Yeah, beautiful. World, yes. Yes. 0.5. We'll just do white because I don't even have something like this. Okay. And also, you want to turn this up to 10. So that looks like that should be it. I'm going to pause it and come right back. Hold on just a second. Alright, here we go. It's finishing up. Turned out pretty cool. Kind of cool looking. Like I said, kind of Dr. Seussy, and that's kind of weird because I know that movie's coming out. That wasn't my intention, but you can see it needs a lot more variation in the grass, and I would do that by creating probably 12 grass blades instead of 2. But all those vertices we added in there, and it only took a minute to render. I'm at like 1280 by 720 and like I don't know, 8A or something like that. But at any rate, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the tutorial, and I hope you got something out of it. It's just something I figured out on my own a little bit. Never seen anything done anything like that, but you can get some really cool results. So again, check out my website, digitali3d.com, and we'll see you guys next time. Happy blending.